Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what you have seen today are fierce arguments from both the prosecution and the defense. However, the prosecution has not presented that, with beyond a reasonable doubt, my client, Adrian Vega, is guilty of hit and run as a felony charge under California Vehicle Code Section 20001A. My client, Adrian Vega, an aspiring swimmer, a great athlete, and a talented young man, is going to be incarcerated due to the biased view of the victim, Cameron Douglas, and a disgruntled teammate, Tony DeLuca, who is willing to put my client in prison fraudulently because of the glory that he received at a swimming game, instead of the Italian student, Tony DeLuca, receiving his share of the glory. First, I'd like to start off with the issue of Miranda. My client, Adrian Vega, was not properly Mirandized at the scene of where Officer Wright and Officer Jackson interrogated my client in the back of a police cruiser. Now, Miranda states that a person's freedom must be restrained. According to the fact pattern that you have seen, my client, Adrian Vega, had his freedom restrained, as when Officer Wright involuntarily closed the back door of the cruiser, my client was restrained inside the cruiser, as the back doors of the cruiser could not open from the inside. Now, in Thompson versus Keohane, Adrian did not feel at liberty to terminate the interrogation and leave, as he stated in his testimony, as you have heard, that he felt personally threatened by Officer Jackson and his intimidating demeanor and size. Also, in Rhode Island v. Iris, the words of Officer Wright elicited an incriminating response from my client, Adrian Vega, as he asked him, as you can see in the fact pattern, that they might have suspected that my client, Adrian Vega, might have hit a bicyclist on the intersection of Skyline and Grand. This questioning, before the action of Miranda, prompted my client, Adrian Vega, to elicit what the prosecution believes an incriminating response. However, that statement is not incriminating. It is in fact responding to what the officer had stated to my client, and it was in a hypothetical. My client said, "I could never forgive myself," not "can never forgive myself." He spoke in a sense that he did not understand that he was a victim, that he was not the perpetrator of this crime, and he was misled by the officer's elicitation of an incriminating response. Now, responding to several witness testimonies, Officer Kelly Wright did not take any paint samples to match the bike that actually would connect the car, the Bueller, to the scene of the crime with the collision of the bicycle. The officer saw turquoise paint on the side of the car, but no samples were ever taken and combined to see if that was actually similar to the bike that hit, that Cameron Douglas was riding, therefore leading to improper evidence and improper analyzation of the crime scene by the officers. While they did have probable cause to arrest Adrian Vega at the time, they did not, beyond a reasonable doubt, have that evidence to put my client, Adrian Vega, in prison without any kind of doubt or mistake. Now, Tony DeLuca, he said that my client was reckless and texting, but that's very interesting because, as you have heard from the witness statement of Taylor Berard, Adrian's personal private swimming coach, Adrian not only was his family a member of an organization against distracted driving, but Adrian, on an occasion, told his coach to put his cell phone away because texting was distracting while one was driving. Now, why, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, would my client text and act recklessly when he already acted like a role model to a person that was already older than he was? How does that make sense? Also, Quinn Liu and Cameron Douglas, according to Dallas, could not actually identify the driver of the Bueller. Adrian's testimony points my client's testimony points to Tony DeLuca actually taking his hat and putting it on his head and driving the Bueller past the crime scene. Now, Cameron Douglas, according to the witness statement of Dallas DeCamp, could not even identify who the person was
30 seconds.
that struck my client. He could only say that he was stunned and dazed. And Quinn Liu points to the fact that there was a white shirt in the car. However, that is very interesting considering that there was only one street light located on the intersection operating, and Quinn Liu's house was from a distance, and a cell phone glare was seen. However, a cell phone glare projects a white screen onto a surface thereby making a color that is very light, such as blue, appear white. And
And
Aubrey Foxell says, Tony,
time.
it's by the...
That's fine.